We have a great responsibility to this institution, to this community and state.
A new era for Syracuse athletics. The university formally introduced its new athletic director on campus today.
Today, the Syracuse Common Council voted on a resolution to amend the United States Constitution to undo Citizens United. I'm Lauren Winfrey, and I'll have that story straight ahead on NCC News.
And DNA of the 2 New York prison escapees has been found in a cabin. NCC News starts right now. It's been a tough week for Wegmans. The chain is in the middle of a recall. I'm Julia Morris.
But to make things worse, there are now new details on a gruesome discovery at a local store. I'm Jonathan Kahn, and that's our top story. The skulls found behind a Wegmans in Western Lights Plaza last week is human. Police made the confirmation today, but the skull was found in a dumpster last week. Officials say they have no other information right now and are asking anyone with information to call the Syracuse Police Department. The grocery chain is also in the middle of a massive water recall. Wegmans brand water is being recalled for E. coli contamination. The recall is for the store's spring water. Here's what to look for. The recall is for 12, 24, and 35 packs of water. Check the code on your 16.9 ounce bottles. It has one of these codes. It may be contaminated.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Syracuse University formally introduced its new athletic director this morning. Ken Syverud and Cuse Athletics held a press conference on campus to introduce Mark Coyle, the new AD. Coyle was previously at Boise State University, where he was responsible for 20 athletic programs and 425 student athletes.
It's a special place because of its history, its tradition. It's a special place, and it's going to go through transition. But I promise you, I'll give you every ounce of energy I have to help this program continue to improve and grow. And
Coyle will start his new role as the SU Athletic Director on July 6th. Citizens rallied in front of City Hall today, anticipating the Common Council's vote on a resolution to amend the Supreme Court's Citizens United decision.
Our Lauren Winfrey has more.
John and Julia, today Common Council voted to overturn the Citizens United ruling. Members of the Move to Amend organization were in favor of the yes vote, and Syracuse is now added to the hundreds of other municipalities nationwide to call for such an amendment. The movement to amend made its way to the steps of City Hall today in favor of undoing Citizens United, the Supreme Court decision that allows corporations and labor unions to spend as much as they want to convince voters to vote for or against a candidate.
Any individual can speak if they have a mouth. Corporations don't have mouths. What they have is money.
With opposition from just one Common Council member.
Well, I appreciate the effort and the support for this constitutional amendment. I have to vote no.
Syracuse now joins 4 other local municipalities in the state of New York to vote yes on amending the Constitution.
Law enforcement officials told CNN that DNA from New York prison escapees Richard Matt and David Sweat has been found. The DNA was found on items inside a cabin in the hamlet of Owl's Head in Franklin County, New York. That's about 20 miles from Clinton Correctional Facility, where the prisoners escaped. 300 state police officers ended their search in Allegheny County today without finding any new leads. A $2.7 million project is planned for a building in downtown Syracuse. Developers want to add 9 upscale apartments to a 156-year-old building on East Water Street. The apartments would be built on the upper 3 floors. Their rent will range from $2,000 to $4,000 a month.
It was the decade of disco and free love. The 70s were also the most recent decade that the DEC stocked Cazenovia Lake with fish. That is until today. More than 23,000 walleye minnows were added to the lake this morning. The walleye were brought in because they are a popular species for sports fishermen.
When we did have a stocking program here, and from up to the 1970s, we had a very good walleye fishery here, and it's since dropped off because there's been no sustained walleye stocking. So we're again trying to recreate a good recreational fishery here for walleye.
The fish can grow up to 3 feet in length when they reach adulthood. Pop star Taylor Swift is making headlines, but it's not about her music. The superstar took to social media to voice her frustrations about Apple not paying artists for 3 months of music during its 3-month trial period through Apple Music.
We're joined now by reporter Catherine Witherspoon, who met with some local artists to get their response on this contentious issue.
That's right. The music industry, especially here in Syracuse, is feeling a sigh of financial relief today after pop star Taylor Swift got Apple Music streaming to a different tune. Taylor Swift has millions of her music, but she hasn't forgotten she was once an unknown artist. The music industry has changed, and streaming music is the catalyst for that change. Taylor Swift's bold remarks about Apple Music not paying artists for their work during its free trial period for its subscribers helps both big-name artists and smaller independent artists as well.
Well, I would have thought that they would be legally obligated to pay them, even if they're giving a free trial. It's kind of giving a free trial of their product, and they're kind of supposed to eat the losses there.
Instead of artists losing money, Apple will now have to pay them and possibly reconsider how they provide its services in the future.
Kat, just how big of a deal is this decision?
John, this is a very big deal because not only does it incorporate the artists getting paid, but it's all the people behind the scenes, a part of the creative process.
And Kat, when can we expect these artists to start getting paid?
Well, all of this just unfolded last night, sometime today, so hopefully they'll iron out all of those details in the days to come.
The board, considering a minimum wage increase for New York's fast food workers, is holding its final scheduled hearing today before issuing its recommendation. The board was asked by Governor Andrew Cuomo to recommend whether to raise the wage for fast food industry later this summer. Any increase would need the approval of Cuomo's labor commissioner, but would not need legislative approval. The Jamesville DeWitt Middle School set a world record for the most people doing sit-ups in 1 minute, but it's now being questioned by the Guinness Book of World Records. Guinness officials say the video of the sit-ups is not clear enough to confirm the record. Principal Andy Eldridge says the school is determined to break the record, even if it is deemed inadequate. There is no scheduled date yet for them when they would attempt a redo. For the 4th time since 1999, Central New York is raising the possibility of adding a new area code, but a state senator is questioning the need for it. The 315 code currently serves 18 counties in Central New York. State Senator Patty Ritchie says adding a new code would create confusion and expenses for residents. She is urging the state to look for different ways to ensure an adequate supply of phone numbers for the area. Check out NCC News Online and take our poll about whether you think we should have a different area code.
We saw blue skies throughout the day in Syracuse today. NCC weather reporter Emily DeVito is live from the weather deck to tell us about some rain that's moving in. Emily.
That's right, Jonathan. We are expecting thunderstorms just past midnight tonight, so you still can enjoy your evening. Currently, it is 81 degrees out and humidity is at 49%, so it's not humid. It feels pretty nice out, and we are getting a light breeze right now. But as I said, showers are expected past midnight. Now, the average at this time of year is 79 degrees, so we are hitting that average just about, and this is the first time we've done it for this month, so it's nice to see these summer temperatures finally coming out. And coming up, I'll have your full forecast at 5 and let you know when else you need your umbrella for the rest of this week. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Emily. Coming up on NCC News, on the heels of the church shooting in South Carolina, President Obama is speaking out about racism in the country, and he's using a word many have never heard the president say.
And the United Nations released its report today on the violent conflict between Israel and Palestine last year. That and more when we return.
The Supreme Court announced 4 decisions today. That tops our news across the nation. 2 of those decisions come from California. The Supreme Court struck down a Los Angeles ordinance Monday that allowed police to inspect hotel guest records on demand, and the government can't take away farmers' raisins. The justices say forcing raisin growers to give up part of their annual crop without full payment is an illegal confiscation of property. The body of a former White House executive chef has been found in New Mexico after he had been missing for more than a week. Walter Scheib went missing after he was hiking on a mountain trail in Taos. He had been missing since June 13th. Investigators say he was out in the mountains and they used his cell phone signal to find the body that was discovered 2 miles from a base on the hiking trail. Scheib served as the White House executive chef from 1994 to 2005. Governor Nikki Haley of South Carolina is now among those calling for the removal of the Confederate flag at the State House grounds. A rally to call for the removal of the flag is also planned for tomorrow. The rally will take place at the South Carolina State House. The push comes as a result of last week's shooting at a historically black church in Charleston. Charleston Mayor Joseph Riley says the flag should be moved to a museum.
Racism, we are not cured of.
Clearly.
And it's not just a matter of it not being polite to say public. That's not the measure of whether racism still exists or not.
In a podcast released today, President Obama used the N-word to put into perspective the reality of racism in the country. On comedian Mark Maron's podcast, Obama says there has been change in the last few decades, but people don't forget what happened 200 to 300 years ago.
Eurozone finance chiefs have stopped talks for a Greek bailout. That tops our news around the world. Greece and its creditors met in Brussels today but did not reach an agreement to help the country unlock bailout funds and save it from default. The meeting of Eurozone finance ministers ended after just 2 hours. Although no agreement was reached, the ministers will reconvene to discuss a possible deal later in the week. A much-awaited United Nations report into the 2014 Gaza war has been released. The report found that both Israeli and Palestinian militant groups may have committed war crimes during the conflict. The commission says it gathered substantial information pointing to serious violations of international humanitarian law by both sides. Both Israeli and Hamas officials reject the UN ruling.
Skies were mostly clear over Syracuse today. Coming up, we'll have your full weather forecast right after the break.
Well, it was a good day to be out on the golf course or in the park with your kids. As you can see from this live look outside, blue skies, barely any clouds. Temperatures are currently 81 degrees, humidity at 49%, which is nice, not that sticky weather that we were feeling last week. Now, if you thought it was hot today, the record was set back in 1988. It was 94 degrees, so we weren't quite there. It would have been a lot hotter. Low was set back in 1918 and is 40 degrees. Now, the normal around this time of year is 79, so we were right on the money with that. Now, let's take a look at some current temperatures around central New York. Currently 80 degrees in Auburn, 82 in Ithaca, 81 in Syracuse, like I said, and a little cooler in Casanova, 75 degrees. Now, if we take a look at the live radar, it is quiet. No activity going on, but I did tell you that we are expecting some showers later tonight around midnight. So I'm going to show you this bigger picture to show you where these showers are coming from and what we can expect. Now, if I move over a little bit for you, this yellow part right here is going to move on into central New York, and we're going to get those showers around midnight. It'll cool, it'll stop for a little bit, and then they'll start up again around 5 a.m. on into Tuesday. And we'll get more into that later. So let's take a look at some temperatures around the country. It's 82 in Florida, 83 in Texas, and the West Coast is of course getting those cooler temperatures. Los Angeles in the mid to low 70s. Now back on the East Coast, we'll also have a great evening, 67, not too hot, nor is it too cold, but we will see those showers. Tomorrow, it's going to be a high of 81, but storms are going to be likely, and they'll probably stop around 1 in the afternoon, but they could continue on, so make sure you grab your umbrella when you're headed out the door. Now let's take a look at that 5-day forecast. Wednesday is going to be the day you want to watch. It's going to be 77 and sunny, so if you're planning any activities, get out there on Wednesday. Thursday, 75 with sun and clouds, so it's a little cooler, and then a lot cooler on Friday, 72 with a chance of some showers. Jonathan and Julia, it's not a bad start to the work week. We got some of those summer temperatures with a few showers here and there.
Thank you, Emily. The Chiefs are continuing their homestand against the Charlotte Knights tonight, where we are going live.
And the latest on the new athletic director for Syracuse Athletics and much more coming up next with NCC sports anchor Geoffrey Chiles.
You think? Oh boy. Well, I'll be quick. I don't want to talk much at all. You should probably tell him I don't have the earpiece in. Oh, great. You're calling him back? Hi, Cody. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. Or nice for you to see me. Step forward. I'm squinting.
Well, the search is over for SU fans. Syracuse finally deciding on a new athletic director this morning. Athletics held a press conference with Chancellor Kent Severud to introduce Mark Coyle from Boise State.
We have a great responsibility to this institution, to this community and state. And I want to make sure that everything we do is first class. When we travel, when we go to class, when we compete, we want to do it the right way. Because being a student athlete is an awesome responsibility, and you get to do it.
Okay. The Auburn Doubledays will have one of the greatest names in pitching history on the mound this season. The Washington Nationals have assigned Mariano Rivera Jr. to Auburn. He's the son of former Yankees bullpen star Mariano Rivera. The younger Rivera was taken in the 4th round with the 134th overall pick by the Nationals in the 2015 draft. The Doubledays open at home on Thursday. Well, the Yankees must be licking their chops as the Phillies limp into Yankee Stadium. Holders of the worst record in baseball, the Phils match up against a Yankee team that's won 12 of its last 18. Philadelphia right-hander Kevin Carrera faces off against New York righty Michael Pineda. First pitch is scheduled for 7:05. Well, the Amazons are still scuffling. They get a brief break Monday night before hopping on a plane for Milwaukee Tuesday. John Neese gets the ball on Tuesday night. Neese has posted a 3.60 ERA over his last 3 starts. Mike Fears takes the hill for the Brewers. Fears is coming off his worst start of the season. He gave up 6 runs on 8 hits against Kansas City. Well, the Chiefs are back in the friendly confines of NBT. Nicole Todd is live at the ballpark. Nicole?
That's right, Jeff. I'm at NBT Bank Stadium. The gates just opened. The game is at 7 o'clock tonight. We just missed batting practice for the Chiefs. And last night, their game on Father's Day was pretty exciting, actually. It was boring at the beginning because they had a rain delay, which lasted forever. But then it picked up at the end in the 10th inning. We can look at the replay right now. And you can see Tony Gwynn Jr. walks up to the plate to hit. He hits it shallow in the right field to send his teammate Keys home and to score the winning game 1-0. The Chiefs ended up winning 1-0. And it was a special moment for Tony Gwynn Jr. because about a year ago, he lost his father, so it was a pretty emotional game for him. And the Chiefs are back again tonight, playing the Charlotte Knights at 7 o'clock, live at NBT Bank Stadium. Nicole, Todd, back to you.
Well, guys, the Chiefs trying to get back on the winning side of things tonight. Plenty going on in sports. You have the Women's World Cup tonight. And for me personally, college football is just over 2 months away.
All right, thanks, Jeff. The west side of Syracuse got a New Orleans-style music treat.
Find out how one local band celebrated International Music Day after the break. The celebration of International Music Day brought cheer to one local neighborhood.
NCC News reporter Ty Sonia Tidwell is live in the studio to tell us how one band surprised residents.
Syracuse. Second Line Syracuse, a New Orleans-style brass band, paraded through the west side of Syracuse in celebration. The 8-piece band began at Skiddy Park and marched around the neighborhood singing, dancing, and handing out instruments. As they played, neighbors came outside of their house, danced in the streets, and some even joined in the parade as the Second Line. The band has only been together for a couple of months and is already performing multiple songs. Log on to nccnews.com to use our interactive tool and hear more of the music from the band. John and Emily, back to you.
This year's winner of a National Hero Dog Award is a cat. Yes, you heard me right. A cat won a dog award.
The LA Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals gave the honor to a tabby named Tara. The cat was awarded for fighting off a dog that attacked her 5-year-old owner in Bakersfield, California last year. She and her family were there to accept the award for her heroic deed. Now, Julia, I know I have 2 dogs, and I'm not sure whether or not they would protect me, but that's pretty impressive, a small cat defending its owner against a dog.
Definitely impressive. I don't have a cat or a dog, but I mean, I'm surprised your dogs aren't mad they got snubbed for the award.
Yeah, well, they weren't qualified this time.
That will do it for the NCC News at 4:45 report. I'm Julia Morris.
And I'm Jonathan Kahn. For more coverage, be sure to check out NCC News Online. We'll leave you now with one last look at the Second Line Syracuse Band. Have a great night.